Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In this video, I've got a very special Am I the A-hole post for you because it does have an update, but not from OP. OP gets confronted in his post and gets called out, and then we get the rest of the story from somebody else. After that, we've got a beautiful malicious compliance that you guys are just gonna love. And as usual, if you just want to navigate through the different parts of the video, you can just use the timestamps right below it. Now, let's get started with that first story. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user jstark1995. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to choose me or her best friend? My girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 26 male, have been together for 4 years. She's been best friends with her friend, also 25 female, since middle school. Before I came into the picture, they were attached at the hip. And then the BFF got jealous of how often my girlfriend and I were together. For our entire relationship, she's been manipulative of my girlfriend and not at all understanding, especially when my girlfriend cancels plans with the BFF to hang out with me. She has also said repeatedly that I'm abusive and controlling, even though she exclusively dates guys who are a-holes. It all came to a head tonight, when we were all out together. The BFF was going on and on about her new job, and my girlfriend finally interrupted to talk about our vacation instead. The BFF got upset and asked if my girlfriend even knew where she worked, because my girlfriend was never around anymore. The BFF started crying in the middle of a bar about how her feelings get hurt when my girlfriend cancels on their plans or doesn't reply to texts. I had enough and asked why she was so obsessed with my girlfriend and our relationship and always needs to lie to get attention about me being controlling. Then her blowhard boyfriend got involved and threatened me with physical violence. Everyone split up after that, and the BFF texted my girlfriend to try to manipulate her some more by saying sorry she started the fight and saying she wanted some space for a while. My girlfriend started crying about how much it all upsets her, and after 4 years I was just kind of tired of it and told her that she needed to choose between me and the BFF. She got upset with me and told me that she couldn't choose between us and that it wasn't fair to ask her to, even though the BFF is always starting drama. Am I the a-hole here, or is the BFF just a psycho? Well, OP, from the way you tell the story and the amount of information that you give us, I would say not the a-hole. However, like I said in the beginning, this is a very special Am I the a-hole post, because the top comment that deemed you an a-hole is from one of the people that was a witness to this whole situation. So instead of making any judgments or analysis or anything like that, let's move on to the comments section to see how this other person sets OP's story straight. Independent Theory 80 says, "You're the a-hole, Jake." Until now, I've been a casual reader of this sub, but after reading this one, I had to make an account and reply because I'm fairly certain I'm part of this friend circle and witnessed this all go down last night. Everyone is right that you are the most unreliable narrator who left out so many details. Let me clear those up. First, we all asked about her new job and wanted to hear all the details. She's so excited about it because it's her dream job, which your girlfriend knows. That girl worked her ass off to get it, so she gets to talk as much as she wants about it. You two don't like hearing about anything that isn't about yourselves. Specifically about you, Jake. Second, your girlfriend has never known how to balance a boyfriend with healthy friend relationships. I've known them both since college. She's insecure, immature, and self-centered. That's how you're able to control her. The only reason you two get invited anywhere anymore is because her BFF and her boyfriend insist it would be rude not to invite her. Because you're a package deal, we're stuck with you too. Third, you were never threatened with physical violence. You're a 6'4" dude who got in a crying girl's face to scream at her, and her boyfriend told you to back up and put himself in between the both of you. Fourth, she was only crying because you were calling her names. This also isn't the first time you've called her names. You literally called her a psycho in your post. Fifth, You make your girlfriend cancel on this poor girl at least once or twice a month. I've seen the texts from your girlfriend canceling because you came up with some BS about how you don't get enough time with her. Sixth, she only calls you a controlling a-hole because you are one. You convinced your girlfriend to stop talking to her for a period of time when she was very depressed and in a dark place. You said her being in this dark place was also manipulation. Seventh, if anyone is manipulative in that friendship is your girlfriend. I've also seen the texts where she told her BFF not to text her while she's with you at your request, not to expect a response from her ever because she doesn't deserve one, and not to get upset when she cancels because she isn't owed any time. The girl apologizes so much because your girlfriend has her convinced she's a bad person, needy and clingy. Lastly, Jake, if this is you, and I really don't see how it could be unless there are two a-hole guys who think they're related to Tony Stark and went off on their girlfriend's BFF in a bar last night, the entire friend group agrees you are the a-hole. I'll be sending them all screenshots of this post. Boom, that just happened, Jake. You got called out on your own post, man. Now, I gotta say that I believe this person, this commenter, a lot more than I believe Jake or OP, because let's face it, she's the one that's actually giving any details and background to why all of this thing happened. With this new additional information, I do kind of get the feeling that this Jake dude is a bit of a douche. And either his douchiness rubbed off on his girlfriend, or she's also kind of a douche. The part that stood out to me the most is that the girlfriend tells the BFF that she doesn't deserve a response when she gets a text, and that she isn't owed any time. I believe those two statements are very crappy and very self-centered to say to anybody. And saying these things to a really good friend over time, well then it kind of burns the bridge. And if these words actually came from Jake and not the girlfriend and she was just repeating them, that makes you a toxic person, Jake, because you're trying to isolate your girlfriend from her friends. Anyways, that's not the end of the story, because Jake replied to that comment and then they started to have a conversation between the two of them. So let's continue with that and then we'll move on with the third party update. And OP responds, mind your own business because you don't know the half of what goes on. Independent Theory 80 then says, buddy, you made it the world's business, lol. Now you're mad you A, got caught, and B, got pegged as the a-hole. If you want to talk about it, text me, because I'm not about to fight with you on here. And OP replies, I don't get why you had to come on here and start drama. I was just venting, because this always happens when we get together as a group. She goes nuts, he gets all big and tough, and you stick your nose where it doesn't belong. And Independent Theory 80 says, first, you're the one who posted to start drama. Second, good thing it's Sunday because you need some quality time with Jesus and a therapist. Third, you were never threatened. You picked a fight with a girl who's a foot shorter than you and her boyfriend told you to stop. Period. End of story. Everyone, stay tuned for Jake's next post. Am I the a-hole for lying on Reddit and getting caught? At this point in the story, OP Jake doesn't respond anymore and we don't hear from him ever again. But like you already know, this doesn't end there. So let's keep going. Short Daydreamer writes a comment to Independent Theory 80. Can you keep us updated? I don't really feel like it's my place to ask for more details, but are the girlfriend and her BFF okay? The BFF seems to be going through a lot, especially with depression and losing her friend to this guy. Also, it sounds like the girlfriend is genuinely being manipulated and isolated from her friends because of this guy. They both sound like they deserve better. And Independent Theory 80 responds, I talked to her BFF after I saw this post, and she gave me permission to share anything needed to clear things up. She's really embarrassed that now there wasn't just a public argument, but it was published to thousands of people on the internet, even if her name isn't attached to it. She's a genuinely kind person who had a rough period in her life 2 to 3 years ago. Thankfully, she's in a better place emotionally now than she was back then. OP wasn't wrong about how often she apologizes, but she's not doing it to manipulate anyone. She actually thinks that she's to blame for these types of situations when they occur, because OP and his girlfriend tell her that she's to blame. From what I understand, she's firm in her decision to take some time away from OP's girlfriend. She thinks that's the best thing for her mental health right now, so obviously everyone will support her. As for the girlfriend, she does deserve better than OP. He's a very controlling and jealous guy. She's not assertive at all and has a lot of her own problems, which makes it easy for him to assert this level of control over her. I don't think she's a bad person at all, but she has always gotten her self-worth through having a boyfriend, and that shows in her actions. A lot of our friends are just done with having that level of toxicity in the friend group. But her BFF and her BFF's boyfriend always advocate on the girlfriend's behalf, so that she's not totally isolated and keeps being invited to everything. I sent OP's girlfriend screenshots and a link to this mess. She isn't talking to any of us right now, including Jake, because of it. But still, multiple people reached out during the date to let her know that we're around if she needs anything. Alright, well, it's been one hell of a ride so far, so how about we put a bow on it and close it up with the update. This update is from Independent Theory 80. The BFF mentioned in this post is fine. I told her that everyone is on her side, which has made her feel a little better about it. She's in a really good place in her life right now and is grateful for anyone who's reached out. The girlfriend is now single. This post and the backlash from everyone, including her mom, made her realize that he was such a crappy guy. I know some people were worried about domestic violence, but she's staying with people right now. Clearly, I'm not gonna say who because Jake's probably still lurking. She knows that people are here if she wants to talk. Not sure where their friendship stands right now, but that's for them to work out while everyone else supports them. Jake, OP, has been blocked on all social media by basically everyone. Hopefully, he finds himself a good therapist. Thank you to everyone who has commented, messaged, and reached out. You're all amazing people for caring about two girls you don't even know. Keep standing up for those who need it. This isn't an uncommon situation, so don't be afraid to reach out if you need help or you think someone needs help. And there you go, that is all the information I could get for you guys on this story. Original OP Jake is now single because his girlfriend dumped him after everything that happened here, and hopefully she does get to rebuild the relationship with the BFF. As for OP Jake, well, sucks to be him. In any case, we are now going to move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user FederalAnt9. Ex's divorces lawyer. Send 3 years of complete financials or else. Me? As you wish. This happened several years ago when my ex and I were going through a heated divorce and custody battle. While we were married, we had a couple of conversations about how rich people hide their assets to avoid paying taxes. I've never had enough assets to do this, but she somehow got the idea that I was and told her attorney that I was laundering money and hiding income. It was more likely the heat of the moment, as divorce custody battles often come down to. I couldn't even afford my own attorney, so I represented myself. Her lawyer wasn't a total ass, but he clearly was out to get me, and he talked down to me like I didn't deserve to breathe the same air. One day, I get a letter in the mail from him requesting an updated income declarations form and 3 years of financials. It had a long ass list of things to include. I own a communications tech company that was in super startup phase back then. Money was already tight. I was trying to get this business off the ground with no financing. I was finishing my MBA with scholarships and loans, so paying for copies and postage or driving this 30 miles to his office meant eating peanut butter and saltines for a week. So I called him to explain my situation. He all but called me a liar and didn't believe I couldn't afford it. I was put off by that and said this was taking time away from business I needed to handle. To which he replied, and I'll never forget this, "Well, according to your income declarations, you're not that busy. What do you do all day?" He then said if he didn't get these documents, he would consider my previous filings as fraudulent, tell the judge, contact the DA, and also alert the state tax agency and IRS. Probably an empty threat, but I'm no lawyer. eFax is one of the services my company provides. and at this time it was relatively unknown. So I asked him if he has a fax machine. He says he had a fax scanner copier device, then said, "What law office doesn't have a fax machine?" And I suddenly got an idea. "Okay," I said to him, "I'll put together and fax whatever I can." "Okay, mother effer, you want 3 years of financials? You got it." I scanned to PDF every receipt I could find. McDonald's receipt from 5 years ago? F it, won't hurt to include it. CVS receipt? It's 3 miles long. Perfect. They get a $1 off toothpaste coupons too. I downloaded every bank statement, credit card statement, purchase order from vendors, and every invoice I sent to clients. I printed to PDF the entire 3-year accounting journal, monthly, quarterly, annual balance sheets, cash flow statements, and profit and loss statements. Not only did I PDF 3 years of tax filings, but every single letter I received from the IRS and state tax agency, including the inserts advising me of my rights. It took a while, but I was a few days ahead of the deadline. I made a cover page with a black background with white lettering. Wherever I could, I included separator pages in all caps in the biggest, boldest font that would fit on the page in landscape. 2,000 something receipts, 2,000 something taxes, etc. I merged everything into a single 150 plus page compressed PDF and sent the document using my eFax system. Every hour or so, I received a status email saying the fax failed. Huh? That's weird. Well, they're getting this document. So I changed the system configuration to unlimited retries after failure to keep redialing it until it went through. Weird, I was still getting status email failures. I'll delete the failure emails and keep the success one after it eventually goes through, I thought. Problem solved. 2 days later, a lady from his office called and asked me to stop sending the fax. Their fax, scanner, printer, copier had been printing non-stop. It kept getting paper jams, kept running out of ink, and they had to keep shutting it off and back on to print. I explained that her boss told me to send this by the deadline or else he would call the DA and IRS. Since I didn't want a call from the DA or the IRS, I would keep sending it until I get a success confirmation. I suggested they just not print until my fax completes, but she didn't like that. She asked me to email the documents, and I told a little white lie that my email wouldn't allow an attachment that big. Unless her boss, in writing, agreed to cancel the request or agree to reimburse me for my costs to print and ship, I said I would continue to fax until they confirm they have received every page. She put me on hold and the attorney gets on the line. He said to forget sending the financials. I said that I would need this in writing, so I will keep sending the fax until he sent that to me. He asked me to stop faxing and he would send it in writing. I said, send it in writing first and then I'll stop. A long moment of silence. Click. About 20 minutes later, I received an email from his assistant with an attached signed letter in PDF that I no longer needed to provide financials. The letter then threatened to pursue sanctions in court or sue me for interfering with their business. Every time I saw him after that, the lawyer never brought up sanctions, lawsuits, criminal referrals, or financials again. Well done, OP. This story is awesome. Maybe after the lesson you taught him, he's gonna get an additional printer so this doesn't happen again. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.